Hello everyone, good afternoon. So before starting, I would like to confirm one thing. Am I audible to you all? If yes, please write in the chat box whether I am audible or not. Okay, okay. Thank you so much, ma'am. So I won't be wasting any time in introducing myself. Just my name is Himanshu Singh because we have less time and we need to cover a lot in today's class. Okay, so I'll be sharing my screen because it is going to be an interactive session. I'm not going to read any PPT. I'll be coding and showing you stuff. So just give me a minute so that I can share my screen. Okay. So now what we are going to do today. So this is the first thing you should know. We are going to study about object-oriented programming. See, it is a big concept. There are many elements in object-oriented programming, like we have classes, we have objects, we have polymorphism, we have inheritance, we have data abstraction, encapsulation, binding. But our motto for today's class is to understand why object-oriented programming is required and how we can achieve this. Okay, so the first thing which we are going to study is the two basic elements of object-oriented programming. And what are those? Number one, classes. Number two, objects. Now, why we need classes? First question. See, suppose you want to store a number. Okay. So in C++, C, or any other language, we have built-in data types which we can use to represent numbers. Like in C++, we have int like this. Suppose I want to store an integer, so I can declare a variable like this. Here int is the data type and a is the identifier. Or if I want to increase the size, I can use long int. So I have these built-in types available. Okay. But what about storing the details of a student? We don't have any data type or primitive data type called student. So here we are going to prepare our own data type because our main motto is to store the details of a student. We cannot use any string variable or integer variable to store the details of a student. We need to create our own data type. So this is our motto. Now in C++, this can be achieved in two ways. Number one, using structures. Number two, using classes. Okay. So as the concept is object-oriented programming, so I'm going to use classes to explain this. Okay. Now how to do this? See, first write the keyword class. Okay. Now class is a keyword which we use to create a class. Now what is a class? It is a blueprint of objects. Okay. You won't understand by the definition. Let me show you with the help of an example that will make things clear. Now class is a keyword. Now we'll write the name of our data type. What is our data type? Student. We want to create a student data type. This is our motto. So I have written the name of my class, or you can say the name of my data type. It is a user defined data type. Now just take it as a real world example. What does a student possess? Okay, student will have certain characteristics and behaviors. So here the characteristics are the variables which are associated to a student. Okay, and the behaviors are the methods. Okay, characteristics are the variables and behaviors are the methods. Okay, see, but with respect to object oriented programming, whenever we declare a function within a class, it is a method. Okay, so from now onwards, if I am having any function within a class, I'll be calling it method. Okay, so what I said, characteristics are the variables and behaviors are the methods. Okay, so what are the characteristics of a student? See, there are many, but in this session, I'll be using three characteristics: age, class, and marks. Okay. Now, by default, the access specifier is private. Now, what is access specifier? You will get to know in 3 or 4 minutes. But for the time being, I'll be making it public. Okay. By default, it is private. Okay. My mistake. It will be C. Now, I'll be creating a constructor. Okay. A constructor has the same name as that of the class. Okay. It is a special function. Okay. Now, I'll be receiving 3 variables. Just give me a few minutes, everything will be clear. Okay, now here I'll be using this pointer to assign the values to the instance variables. Now, why I'm using this pointer? Because if I won't be using this pointer, then there will be a namespace collision. So this actually is a pointer which is pointing to the current object. We'll be creating an object. You will get to know about that. Okay. But for the time being, let me write the code. Okay. Now, we have declared the instance variables, means I'm talking about the characteristics. We have a constructor of the class, okay, where we have assigned. So this is the parameterized constructor, as because it is receiving parameters. Okay, so we have a parameterized constructor, and here we have assigned the values to the instance variables, and we have used this pointer to remove the namespace collision. Okay, now the last thing which we are going to do in this class is to create a method. So simply I'll be creating a method having return type void. Void means that this method won't be returning anything. Okay, now in this I'll be printing the details of the student. Okay, now how to print? Simply I'll be printing age, then a space, class to which he belongs, then again a space, his marks. Now, do we have a student now? No, we just have the prototype. Try to understand, we just have the prototype. Now, in order to allocate memory to this prototype, we need to create the object of this class. Now, how to create the object of this class? Okay, it's very simple. How we used to create an integer type variable? We used to write the data type and then the identifier. Similarly, what we'll be doing, we'll writing our data type. So this is our data type. Now this data type is not built in. That is why we have created a prototype here. Now our C++ knows that yes, there is a user defined data type named student. It has certain characteristics like age, class, marks, and it has a constructor, a parameterized constructor, which receives 3 parameters, which are used to assign values to the instance variables. Okay, and it has a method perform. Now all are public. Now what does it mean? I'll tell you. Okay, what does it mean? Why I have written here public? Okay, this is actually an access specifier. So for the time being, I think we have done correct. Yes. Now let me create an object of student class having name A. Now we need to pass the parameters. Now what is the case? Whenever we create, just a minute, having name A. Okay, whenever we create an object of a class, constructor is called automatically. Try to understand. Whenever we create an object of a class, the constructor is called automatically. So it means after writing this student, this will be called automatically. So we need to pass the parameters, required parameters. Suppose I want to create a student having age 15, he's in class 10, and his marks, let it be 98. Okay, so here we have an object A, which is of type student, means A actually represents a student. I hope you are getting me what I'm trying to say. A represents a student. A is a student type variable. A is the object of student class. It is up to you how you want to describe this A. Now, I can prepare as many objects I want. Again, I'll be preparing another student. Now, his age is 14. Suppose he's in class 9 and his marks is 56. Okay, now we have 2 students. We have 2 objects of class student. Okay. Now, I hope you have got why I have passed these parameters, because what I said that whenever we create an object of a class, the constructor is called automatically, and in this case we have a parameterized constructor, so we need to pass parameters while calling this constructor. So this constructor is called automatically when we create the object of the class. Okay, or you can say that we are calling the constructor, and this constructor is going to create the object of the class. In any way, it is up to you. Okay. Now we have 2 students. Okay, we have 2 objects. Now suppose I tell you that you need to tell me that which student has more marks. We have two students here, which student has more marks. Okay, now using the object we have created, we can access the instance variable. Okay, how to access? See, now I want to check which student has more marks. Okay, so first student a dot. See, this dot is used to access the members of the class. Okay, or members of the object. Okay, now a is a student, so a dot marks. Okay, if it is greater than b dot marks, it means that student a has more marks. See out, I'll be simply writing student a. Okay, done. Else if a dot marks is less than b dot marks, a is representing one student and b is representing another student, and these are the parameters we have passed. So these are the values which are assigned to the instance variables of the respective objects. Okay, so if a dot marks is less than b dot marks, it means that student b is having more marks. I'll be printing student b in simple words, else equal. Okay, so see out, it is used to print things on the console. Okay, I'm using stream insertion operator here. It means I'm inserting stuffs to the stream so that it can go to the buffer and then to the console. Okay, I hope you are getting it, what I'm trying to say. Okay, now here equal. So this is it, our program is ready. Okay, now I'm going to run this and then I'll be making few changes to make you understand the concept of access specifiers. Okay, why it is important, what is the use of this public. This is actually, there are basically three access specifiers in C++: public, private, protected. We'll be getting into that, but for the timing I'll make you understand what is it. Okay, so let me cross check it whether it is correct or not. I have created two objects. Okay, let me run this. If any error will be there, we'll get to know. Student A is the output. I think it is visible to you all. Why student A is the output? Because see, the marks of student A is 98. So this is the reason why student A is the output. Now I have a question. Okay. Now suppose, let me remove all this. I want to print the details of student A. Listen to me carefully. It is very important and it will clear your doubts regarding the access specifier. Now I want to print the details of student A. How I can do this? See out a dot h, okay, then a dot class, then a dot marks. Okay, let me run this. I haven't given any space, so I hope you will understand this. Okay, so see, this is the age. Age is 15, class is 10, and marks 98. So this is okay. What if, wait, I make it private. Okay, I make this part private, but constructor has to be public, or else we won't be able to create the object of the class. And this method also, it is public. Okay, because this is continued. If I haven't mentioned anything before the method perform, this public is continued. Okay, this public. Now let me run this program. Okay, let us see what happens. First, let me run this program. Compilation error. What does it mean? Means what this error is. As I have mentioned this as private, it means that these instance variables are only visible or can only be used within this class. As these variables are private, it means that these variables are only visible within this class. Okay, it means that, see, here I am trying to access the variables outside the class. We have a method called, or a function called main, okay, which is present outside the class student, and I have created the object of the class student and trying to access the instance variables, but those instance variables are private. So when the variables are private, we cannot use it outside the class. Okay, so this is the reason I am getting error here. Okay, now how to access? It's quite simple. We have a behavior or a method called perform, and this is public. This is public. See, this is public. So it means that I can access this method outside the class. I cannot access those variables outside the class because those variables are private. I can only access those variables within the class student. See, I'm accessing also. See, I'm accessing age, class, and marks within the class student, because perform is a method of class student. So I can access the member variables within the class, but I cannot access them outside the class if those variables are private. Now, how to access this? Very simple. I have created the object. Okay, I'll simply be calling perform, because perform is printing all the details of the student, and I have access to perform because perform is public. Now let me run this code. Okay, we'll be getting the correct output. Submission queued. Just a minute. Yep. See, we have the details. The first one is the age, the second one is the class, and the third one is the marks. Okay, so I hope the stuff is clear. See, I haven't taught anything yet, just I made you understand what a class is, how can we create an object of a class. Okay, there is another way we can use new keyword to create an object, but in this class I won't be teaching that, because you need to have a proper grip of pointers to know that. Okay, so here I have created the object of class student. The name of the object is A. Okay, now as we are having a parameterized constructor, and we know that whenever we create an object of a class, constructor of that class is automatically called. So as the constructor is called and it is a parameterized constructor, so we need to pass the arguments. Okay, we need to pass the arguments. Now what is the use of this? This actually is a pointer which points to the current calling object. So I am telling that yes, this age is an instance variable and this age is this age. Okay, so it is used to remove the namespace collision in C++. This pointer, okay, it points to the current object. It is a pointer. Okay, so I am accessing age, class, marks. Okay, instance variables. Now, just one thing. Did you all get this? Now I am on the homepage of StreamYard. So if you have any doubt, then please ask. Or else I'll be solving a question of HackerRank, which is based on the similar concept. Should I start solving the question? Or if you have any doubt, please ask me. I'll be clearing it. Anything related to classes, objects, what is the use of this pointer, why I'm using that arrow operator there, what is the member access operator, the dot operator, what are access specifiers, what is the use of private. I hope it is clear to you all, and if you are facing any doubt, please inform me, or else I'll be solving this question. And this is a very easy question. If you have got stuffs which I have just taught you, you will be able to solve it. So let us start this question. Okay, now first they have given the definition of a class. It is a blueprint of object. I have already told you why it is called a blueprint, because see, this is actually a prototype. It is a blueprint. Okay, when we will get the memory this time, when we create the object of the class. Okay, this is the class and here A is the object of class student. Okay, now so they have given stuffs. Now what they said, you all can read this, but let me focus on the main part. Create a class named student. Okay, create a class named student. So I won't be reading the entire question. Okay, I'll be reading step by step and I'll be solving it. So our first task is to create a class named student. How to do this? Use class keyword. C should be small, then the name of the class. Okay, done. This part is okay. Now with following specifications. Specification means what are the stuffs we are going to have in that class, means what are the characteristics, what are the variables, what are the behaviors, what are the methods we are going to have in this class. So first, an instance variable named course. Instance variable means object variable. Okay, object variable. Now scores to hold a student's 5 exam scores. Now we need to store actually 5 marks. Okay, so we need an array. So we'll be having an array with name scores of size 5. Okay, then let me make this public. Okay, next, void input function. Okay, void input function or method that reads 5 integers and saves them to scores. So we need to take input. Okay, void input. See, you cannot change the name of the method. Okay, so what I need to do, I need to take input. So we all know how to take input in an array. We need a loop. We have to take the help of a loop. I'm using for loop. You can use while, do while. It is up to you. Okay, I starting from 0 because we know array indexing starts from 0 less than 5 because we want to store 5 scores. Okay, now C in, which is used to take input. Now name of our array is scores I. So I think up to this it is clear. Okay, up to this it is clear. Now what we have done, okay, yes, it is clear. We have a method input within our class. Now next thing, we need another method that is in calculate total score. Now what is this int? Int means, see here, void, what does it mean? It means that we are not going to return anything. Okay, and int specifies that I'm going to return an integer type value. Okay, now how to do this? What is the name of the method? Calculate total score. Total calculate total score. Okay, now it is not going to receive any parameter, so I'll be leaving it blank. Now what I need to do, it returns the sum of the student's score. Read this carefully, this line. Okay, it returns the sum of the student's score. So I have the scores present in the scores array. Now I need to find the sum. Again, I'll be taking help of a loop. Okay, for no need to initialize because I have already initialized I with 0, I less than 5, I plus plus. Now what I'll be doing, I need another variable called sum to store the final result. I will initialize it with 0. I hope you all are getting it. If you face any problem, inform me. Sum equals to sum plus scores scores I. Here we have no problem, but it's better to give the semicolon in the same line. So I think uh, we are ready with our code. So we have created a class student. We have an instance array variable scores having size 5. Then they have told us to create a method input where we had to take input. So we have done that. Now in calculate score method, now what we have to do, we just need to return our answer. Okay, now the thing is ready. Okay, uh, see inside this loop we have only this line. Okay, as I haven't used any braces, so we know by default it will take only one line. Okay, or one statement, that semicolon thing. Okay, so I've returned the final answer. Now see, we don't have to do anything else. Okay, the other steps are performed by this boilerplate which is already present. Okay, so what they wanted from us, we have done that. Okay, this is what they wanted from us. Now they will perform certain operations and they'll find the answer. Whatever they want to do, we don't have anything to do with that. What they have said, we have done that. See, they have told us to create a class, to create the methods and instance variable inside the class. We have done that. Now here we don't have to create the object of student. It is done automatically by this boiler. It means they have done it, they have written the code for that. Now I'll be running this code. Okay, let me see, it's processing. Congratulations, so the sample test case passed. Now I'll be submitting it. Hooray, see, all the test cases have passed. So this is a simple example of class, means how we can handle a class. Okay, so I hope you have got this, and if you face any difficulty, please tell me, I'll make you understand again. Okay, any stuff which we have done today, and if not, then I'll be stopping it right now because we have completed the steps we had to complete in today's lecture. So if you face any problem, please ask. Otherwise, we are done with it. Okay, I hope you have got what we have done here. Okay, Should I stop the meeting, or you have any problem? Hello, am I audible? Okay, okay. Thank you so much, ma'am. Then should I leave? Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. Thank you so much.